Hello, dear viewers. Today, we will embark on an emotional and miraculous journey through the story of Diep and James. A journey filled with love, faith, and hope, but also the harsh challenges they must overcome to be reunited with each other. Imagine being in Diep's shoes, having fought through illness, and now, fully recovered, you're preparing to return to your family. But suddenly, a mid-air accident puts them in a life or death situation. Will they be able to overcome this challenge and find true happiness in the end? The tense, breathless moments, along with true love and affection, will keep you hooked on this story. Behind all these events is a miracle, a belief in life. Diep and James have gone through so much together, and now they are about to embrace a new beginning, one where there is no pain, only hope and love. But their story is just beginning. What challenges will they face next? Stay tuned to discover the exciting twists and turns in the upcoming episodes. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more emotional journeys like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel today so you never miss a video. Share your thoughts with us and join us on the wonderful stories coming up. Thank you for your continuous support and for following along. The plane had ascended high into the sky, gliding through fluffy white clouds, with sunlight streaming down and casting soft rays across the aircraft's wings. Diep reclined in her seat, feeling each breath she took. She smiled, feeling a sense of peace overwhelm her heart, just like when she rested in James's arms, where all worries disappeared. She looked out the window, savoring the quiet space and the vast blue sky, her heart feeling light, free of any burdens. James sat beside her, his eyes also focused on the view outside the window, but not because he was anxious or tired. He was simply absorbing the calmness of the moment, a moment they had both been waiting for so long. The story of the long days battling illness, sleepless nights, and worries about the future seemed to belong to the past. They were on their way home, to their families, to love, to a new beginning. However, life doesn't always unfold as peacefully as they hoped. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the plane, causing the entire cabin to shake. Diep jolted in her seat, gripping the armrest tightly, trying to maintain composure. The engine noise changed, no longer steady but now sounding strained, as if the plane was facing an issue. Immediately, the emergency lights flickered on, and the pilot's voice came through the intercom. "We are experiencing a technical issue. Please remain calm and follow the flight attendant's instructions." The cabin fell into an oppressive silence. Whether out of concern or not, everyone could feel the tension in the air. Passengers began whispering to each other, their eyes fixed on the flight attendants, waiting for further instructions. Diep could feel her breath growing heavier. She couldn't avoid the sense of panic, even though she knew James would be right by her side. James turned to look at Diep, his eyes betraying the worry he was trying to mask. But immediately, he reached over and held her hand tightly, pulling her closer and wrapping her in his arms. The warmth from his body gave Diep some comfort, though the fear in her heart remained. She looked into his eyes, seeing in them a steadfast strength, as if he didn't want her to see the fear he was hiding deep inside. "I won't leave you, Diep," James whispered, his voice deep and soothing, but with a promise that carried certainty. Diep nodded, feeling his strength in his embrace. She didn't say anything, but in her heart, she felt a strange sense of calm. No matter how tense the situation, she knew that with James by her side, she wouldn't be alone. She tightened her grip on his hand and rested her head on his shoulder, letting the worry inside her dissipate just a little. The engine noise grew louder, and the plane's vibrations intensified. Diep felt as though she was caught in the midst of a storm, with everything around her becoming chaotic. The flight attendants swiftly moved through the cabin, instructing passengers to unbuckle their seatbelts and prepare for an emergency. Some passengers began to show signs of panic, exchanging nervous glances, while others tried to stay calm, following the attendants' guidance. James kept Diep tightly in his arms, his gaze never leaving her. Despite the external chaos, he focused on one thing above all, protecting Diep. He didn't want her to feel alone or afraid, because he understood that, in moments of uncertainty like this, love and resilience were the only things that could help them overcome the fear. Diep could clearly feel that, in this moment, their love was like a strong shield. She didn't ask for anything, she just hoped the ordeal would soon be over so they could return to their peaceful life, with their family, and continue with their unfinished dreams. She looked up at James and saw him smile softly, a reassuring smile that calmed her. The entire cabin seemed to hold its breath, all eyes now fixed on the pilot and the flight attendants, waiting for the next set of instructions. The tension in the air felt as if time itself had stopped. Diep clutched James's hand tightly, facing this moment of fear together. It was only love, hope, and faith that could help them stay strong. They sat side by side, not needing to say anything more. But deep inside, both knew one thing: no matter what happened, they would always hold each other's hands and face whatever came their way together. Their love would be the strength to overcome any challenge, no matter how difficult. After what felt like an eternity, the plane finally landed safely. When the wheels touched the ground, the entire cabin seemed to exhale in relief, a wave of calmness spreading through the passengers. The engine noise gradually faded, and the atmosphere in the cabin was peaceful, as if everything had just crossed a dangerous boundary. Diep sat still, her hands still tightly holding James's. She couldn't quite believe what had just happened. She looked at James, her eyes teeming with tears but filled with an indescribable joy. They had weathered the storm, and from the moments of fear to this very moment, all that remained was peace and gratitude. "We made it, Diep," James whispered, his voice thick with emotion. He gripped her hand tighter, unwilling to let go, as though he wanted to hold on to this moment, the moment of life and hope. Diep began to cry, not out of fear or worry, but out of deep gratitude. She couldn't find words other than to thank life, thank James for being by her side during the most hopeless times. She didn't know if she could have stood strong without him. Amid the trials that seemed impossible to overcome, he had been the guiding light, her companion who never left her. When the plane came to a full stop and the cabin door opened, passengers began to get up from their seats, but Diep and James remained seated, as if they wanted to hold on to a little more time. The crowd around them hurried to leave, but they just wanted to savor these peaceful moments, to feel life in every breath. Diep closed her eyes, the tears still flowing, but these were tears of gratitude, of life, of love, and of hope. She clearly felt that, in this life, nothing was more precious than being alive, being loved, and having someone always ready to protect her, like James. "Thank God we still have each other," Diep whispered, her voice soft but filled with sincerity. James didn't say anything, he just held her tighter. There was no need for more words. This moment, this feeling, was enough for them to understand each other. His eyes sparkled, filled with happiness and peace. He knew that, no matter how tough life would be, no matter the challenges ahead, as long as they were together, nothing was impossible. At that moment, the airport became busier with passengers rushing out, but Diep and James remained standing still in that vast space, seemingly indifferent to the surroundings. For them, all that mattered at that moment was their presence in each other's lives, the silent love they shared. Diep looked into James's eyes and then smiled softly. "I know we'll be all right, don't you?" she asked gently, her voice calm but filled with confidence. "Absolutely, Diep. Everything will be fine, as long as we're together," James replied, his eyes shining with belief. Together, they walked out of the plane, hand in hand, stepping into an unknown future, but one full of hope. They were entering a new world, a new beginning, where there would be no more worry or fear. Diep knew that, no matter what happened, they would always hold hands and face every storm together. Tonight, in Diep's heart, there was a strong belief that life was not always easy, but with love, hope, and faith in each other, nothing was insurmountable. She no longer feared or worried about the future, because she knew that, no matter how life might change, she and James would always walk together, side by side, on a path full of love and happiness. As Diep and James stepped out of the airport, the afternoon sunlight bathed the streets, making the surroundings warm and peaceful. Despite everything they had been through, they felt as if they were beginning a new journey, one full of promise and hope. Diep's heart was filled with joy, not only because of the peace after the storm but also because she knew they were about to meet James's family, where she would officially become a part of it. Soon, they arrived at a spacious, cozy home where James's family was waiting to welcome them. The door opened, and the joyful laughter of their loved ones echoed, blending with the warm and affectionate atmosphere. Diep felt the sincere welcome and love James's family had for her. It felt as if she had been a part of this family for a long time, even though this was their first meeting. "Welcome home, Diep." James's mother, Mrs. James, stepped forward with a gentle smile and open arms. She embraced Diep tightly, as if to offer all her love and protection. Diep hesitated for a moment but then returned the embrace, feeling the warmth fill her heart. It wasn't just a mother welcoming her daughter-in-law, but a hug full of sincerity and unconditional love. Thank you to the family for welcoming me," Diep said, her voice trembling, unable to hide her emotions. "You don't have to thank us, Diep. We are family now, and you are a part of our family," Mrs. James said gently. Never before had Diep felt so loved. In her heart, all the exhaustion and worries disappeared. All she could feel was warmth and happiness. James stood beside her, his eyes shining with pride and joy as he saw Diep welcomed like this. He took her hand in his and looked at his mother, saying, "Mom, I have some good news. Diep and I are engaged." James's words were a pleasant surprise to everyone in the house. All eyes turned to Diep and James, and smiles spread across everyone's faces. Mrs. James looked at her two children with teary eyes, a look of pure happiness. "Oh, that's wonderful!" Mrs. James exclaimed, and then turned to embrace Diep again. "You are going to be a wonderful daughter-in-law. We are so happy that you are well and that you are now a part of this family." Diep felt an overwhelming wave of emotions. She never imagined everything would turn out so well. Despite everything she had gone through, she felt the sincere love from James's family. Everything felt like a miracle, a blessing that she never dared to dream about. After the emotional moments, James's family decided to take them both to church to pray together, giving thanks to God for the new life and new beginnings filled with hope. They walked together to the small church on a quiet street, where the soft light of candles and the serene atmosphere filled the space. Everyone sat down. Diep and James sat together, hand in hand, feeling the peace and tranquility around them. The priest stood at the front, his gentle eyes looking at everyone. He began to pray, "Lord, today we come before you, asking for your blessings. We thank you for keeping us together, for giving us the strength to overcome all the challenges in life. Please continue to grant us love, peace, and faith in a bright future." Diep closed her eyes and listened to every word of the prayer. In her heart, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She realized that, from now on, her life would always have James by her side, sharing both the joys and the sorrows, and walking through every step ahead. She also felt God's protection, like a warm hand guiding them forward. James held Diep's hand tightly and whispered in her ear, "Thank you for being by my side. We will always be together, never apart." Diep turned to look at him, her eyes filled with happy tears. She didn't need to say anything more, just tightened her grip on his hand, feeling the love in every breath, every heartbeat they shared. She thanked God for bringing them together, for helping them overcome every difficulty to reach the ultimate happiness. This story is a beautiful and emotional journey of love, resilience, and hope. It portrays the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity, as we follow Diep's battle with illness and the unwavering support of James. Their story is not just about overcoming physical challenges, but about the emotional bonds that hold them together through even the toughest times. The mid-air crisis adds an intense moment of suspense, highlighting the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. The relief and gratitude that follow when they safely land is deeply moving, reminding us all of how precious life and love are. The warm welcome from James's family and their decision to pray together at church further emphasizes the power of faith, gratitude, and togetherness. What resonates most is the idea that love and hope can carry us through the darkest times, and that no matter what life throws at us, having someone to walk beside us makes all the difference. This story is a reminder to appreciate the little moments, to never give up, and to always hold on to love. It's truly a heartfelt tale that stays with you long after it's over.